Welcome, everyone. Beautiful Friday. I am so excited to have my guest today. She's going to rock your world. She's rocked my world for over a year. And, luckily, I got to meet her in person. I know we do a lot of these virtual shows and one on ones, but I was so blessed to meet her in person. And she's more beautiful and lovely in person than she is even virtually. But she's going to bring some great information about all kinds of things. So have a pad and paper ready. Together We Serve is a TV show. We want people to learn. Let's serve as a community, as a tribe. Let's work together. We don't need to be isolated and alone when we're running our business, but together we serve and have that serving and value-driven mentality. Great things are going to happen in your business. Maybe tomorrow, maybe next month, maybe next year, but definitely good things are going to happen. Let me bring my guest on. Lila, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Steve. It's so great to be here.
What I'm excited, I want to jump right on. You have that servant's heart. You've been on my podcast. We've talked about this. You give, even before the show, you talked about, you give a bunch of content for free. Why do you do that, and what's your mission with that?
I love this question, and I'm really grateful to be here. Having the servant's heart is not something I used to know about years past until I got into personal development and growth mindset and everything. And I realized my whole life I've been like that. I was the one who I saw some kids struggling in school, and I would help them with their homework, help them study. I would create study groups, all sorts of little things like that. I would teach people. I would stay after practice and help people learn skills when I was in a sport. And so serving is just something that I'm naturally wired to do. And what I would say is that I don't really believe that anything is just purely for others. I get a lot of feelings of goodness. I feel really good when I help people. And so there's an equal receiving of a good feeling as I'm giving. So with that said, there's really 3 reasons that I give so much content away for free. I've been creating content just a little over 10 years now. And I've spent periods of time creating content every single day for, over a year, maybe a year and a half at a time. I'm in a zone right now where I'm creating content every day as well. And I'm having a really good time. So a couple reasons is one, it's like a commercial. I remember when I heard Oprah talk about having live TV for the first time, and they would just go live when she was on TV in Chicago. They would just go live for any reason, just because they could. They could all of a sudden be live from the kitty in the tree, anywhere. And when I realized I could put my face on camera and talk, reach people, and then go and then once live TV or live video, social media came out, I realized I could be like Oprah. That's what I felt like at the time. I was like, this is so cool. And I used to say to people, I'm in your, my face is in your hand every single day. Or I would say, sometimes you're spending more time with me on your phone than you are with your family. Mm-hmm. And so I knew that if I have a servant's heart and I want to serve more people and help people more, grow my business as well, on the receiving end, that doing this, showing up as a commercial of sorts, was just a really easy, smart way that I could do it from home. I don't have to go anywhere,
I
and
love
so that's how it started, we'll say.
Well, let me ask you. Yeah, and before I forget, let's also talk about that link that we have going across at the bottom, embodywithlila.com.
Yeah, bodywithlila.com is a short 10-minute practice that will help you embody your worth and easily attract opportunities. It's what that's what we're talking about here today. Is how do we show up? How do I be able? How can I create so much content and give so much for free, and still feel worthy and high value and receive a lot? Well, I've created a system. This is a 10-minute practice. I've created 7 10-minute practices to help you embody your worth. This is one of them. It's the one that is by far the most favorite of my clients, and the one that some of my clients do every single day, and sometimes multiple times a day. And it's only 10 minutes because I knew over and over and over from what I kept hearing was I'm busy. I don't have enough time, right? And I struggle to stay consistent. So created a 10-minute practice that once you do it a few times, you'll remember it. You don't even need the video. But I want to give it away for free because it's one of the highest values I could give somebody. And so another reason why I give away so much content for free is because I own my worth. I know that I can give and give and give and give and give, and I can trust that I will receive in equal amounts. Whatever I give, I receive. Whatever I give, I receive. And so I don't really care if somebody gets results from my free content or they get results from working with me. It's up to them. Like I always say, like, I teach everything that I teach in my paid programs in my free content. Now you might have to piecemeal it together, but the reason people work with me is because I can help customize, a journey for them. And also to get in my energy field. We attune to each other as humans, and that's something I'll talk about today about. I'll just say it right now. We attract what we are, not what we want. We attract what we are, not what we want.
And that's why personal development is so important to you. Sorry to interrupt. And now I'm getting this. Because you're better by educating yourself with personal development, so you're a better person, more better people are going to come to you. Am I reading that right or hearing it?
Yeah. Like, I want to be a generous person so that generous people come to me. And they do. I often joke, when I speak on stages, I say, I get everything I want and people love to give me things. And it's true. And I even stages, people are like, well, how do you get booked on stages? I say, I get asked to do them and I get referred and people, book me. And then I usually, when I'm booked, if somebody's there that has a stage, they'll want to book me. So I get more speaking. I've really never had to go after anything. I've just shown up generous in a good mood, right? It's my job to stay happy so that I show up in a good place. And we'll talk about how to do all this stuff in a second. I'll give you actually practical tips, but that's another reason. And then I wanted to just refer to Gary Vaynerchuk, right? Gary Vaynerchuk is somebody that a lot of people know, and if you don't know him, he's an influencer and a big marketing guru. And he wrote this book called Jab, 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 Right Punch, and it's give, ask. Give, ask. So sometimes I'll be launching a program, for example, and I'll launch it and I'll get enrollments like really quick. And people will be like, gosh, I needed like 90 days to get that many enrollments. And it happened for me in like maybe 1 to 3 weeks, right? And I'm like, well, I already was giving so much. By the time I made the ask of people to see if they wanted to enroll and work with me, they were already set up. They were nurtured so much that the ask didn't feel needy or pushy or, no attachment to it. It was just like, hey, I have something. Do you want it? Right?
Yeah.
And so, that's another reason why we want to give a lot, is because once we want to ask, it's easy. It makes the ask really easy.
So let me ask you, because I hear this all the time. We're so kindred hearts because I give, and without a scoreboard, I don't give to get something. I give. The universe takes care of me. Energy takes care of me. But that person, an entrepreneur usually, and nothing against, I love entrepreneurs. We're both entrepreneurs, but they go, hey, Steve, I love the idea, but I got a PG&E bill to pay, or I got rent to pay. How do you handle that?
Great question. It's why we're here today. So, what I'm hearing there is basically somebody is in a position of not feeling there's overflow, not feeling like there's enough, so they're feeling tight. Okay, so let's figure out how to get more then, maybe, right? Maybe they are worried about paying their bills. Maybe they are, and but they don't realize there's other ways to give. Number one, you're a super connector. I've actually told quite a few people how you're a super connector. I'm a super connector, but you're like a super duper connector. Okay, or you're like super duper connector. If I were like a millionaire, you'd be like a trillionaire, right? So in the connection game. So I love that about you. I admire that, because a lot of my week is spent connecting people. Actually, I spend quite a bit of time connecting people, and it's a joy of mine. And I've been asked before, like, well, what do you want back? And I'm like, nothing. This is something that I have. I know people. I would love to share. That's just and it all comes back, right? Even if it's not from that person. Yeah. So they need to work on their mind. Step one. If they want to feel more like higher value in the world, so that there's overflow and they can give more, they need to work on their mind. They need to realize there's always enough. They're always taken care of. And they need to trust that they're always going to be taken care of. It's a huge issue for not just entrepreneurs, everybody. In times right now where the economy's strange and things are a little bit unsure of how we're moving forward, it's a little dynamic times. Even more so, you've got this tightness, it's kind of like lockdown. And I'm like, I know that I'm worthy of receiving no matter what's going on in the world. And I know that there's been times of difficulties where people get tight and locked down, and then other people thrive at the same time. So I'm going to be the person who's going to thrive, right? If I don't feel like I have enough, if I don't feel like I have overflow, I'm going to create more value in the world, so that I have more, so that I can give more. You know what I mean? So I don't. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I just gonna say it's how I live my life forever. But the last 2 years, realizing it in my mind, I didn't have it in my mind. So I'm a living proof of you. And audience, a quick story. I'm gonna edify you. You're so awesome, because when we met in person, I've told this story since. It's June 5th. I remember the day I come walking into the conference. You see me and you grab me nicely, not in a business way. Steve, let me introduce you to a few people. You, one of only 3 people, did that. Nothing against the other people at all. But that's that super connector of value, because you weren't just doing it to go, hey, Steve, I look great. You were doing it because, hey, I know Steve, you can bring value here. And you said that. Hey, you can bring value here to you and to you. And I've met a number of these people since, and we've got some great value going back and forth. So you are living this. And I want to put that out there because it inspires me.
Thank you. It's exciting for me. It's actually the same thing when I have group programs that I run, which I do. I always tell my communities, I say, one of the biggest values I'm giving you is each other. And it is such a joy of mine to bring people together and then watch them form friendships, watch them form collaboration and business partnerships even. I've seen all sorts of neat things happen. I've seen people even fall in love who have been in my communities. And so it's a joy of mine. And I wouldn't be able to do that if I felt scarcity, because I would be so focused on my own self and my own needs. It's funny, I just heard my voice go a little emotional. I don't know if you heard that. I just noticed it. I'm very in tune with my body. And I just heard my voice go a little bit emotional, because I know what that's like when I was young, like 18, broke, trying to figure life out. That's how I felt. I couldn't focus on anybody else but myself, my own needs to just, pay the bills and buy groceries, right? So I don't have that. I'm not in that space now. So if you're in that space, I get it. But what you want to do is get out of that space, work on your mindset, number one. A couple ways to do it is list all the time, the money, the energy you've spent investing in yourself, learning stuff. So you might have gone to school. You might have listened to podcasts. Like right now, the investment you're making in your time and energy, listening to this is part of the value you offer the world, because you're learning, you're growing, you're absorbing, you're going to implement ideally after today what we talk about. So list everything you've invested, and then the other piece is ask people who know you well. Ask them, what are my greatest assets? What are my greatest strengths? If you feel low self-worth, talk to people that know you well. Call them up and be like, hey, I'm working on a project. You don't have to tell them what it's about. You say, what are my 3 best qualities or assets? Just listen. Let the people in your life tell you how good you are. And if you talk to at least 4 people, you'll start to see a pattern. Right? So one thing that people say to me when I ask them things like this is the word powerful or power, something around power. Right? That's what I've heard over and over and over and over and over again. So I'm like, okay. And then the other word is energy. You've got great energy. I love your energy. Something about energy. Right? And so I know that one of my roles in the world is to help people, right, increase their power and elevate their energy, right? And I do that in different ways, but everybody always feels better when they work with me. They always feel better. They always have more and feel better. So that's you can look to people who love you, who care about you, who know you, respect you, and ask them. So that's the mindset work. The other piece I want to say, is it okay to go on?
Keep going. No. And real quick, I love what you're saying about the 4 people, because they're going to be authentic and honest with you. Don't go to some stranger in the street. They're going to fluff you and go, oh, Steve, you're the greatest guy, because they want me to like them. I love that you say the 4 personal, because they're going to go, that's not you, Steve. You're this, this, and this. Okay, thank you. I love it.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah, it's good, because if it's people that know you well, they'll be clear too. If they know you well. So, okay, so that's the mindset work to really elevate your value, to be able to feel like there's overflow. There's the mind work, there's spirit work, there's the body work. We'll talk about the spirit work. I'm not going to go too woo-woo on you here. I'm just going to give you some very practical tips. You want to think about your breath as inspiration, breathing in spirit, right? We'll just call it like air. And what you want to do is learn how to breathe in and out. But a lot of people say, take a deep breath. What I say is, don't try to take a deep breath, especially if you're not feeling high self-worth. Think about going wide breath, almost like your rib cage or fish gills. Wide breath. It's much easier to go wide than deep. You'll get deep over time if you go wide, but also if you go wide, you'll get deeper faster. You go wide, you take up more space in the world. A lot of times when you're not feeling high self-worth, you're diminishing, you're getting smaller literally in your physical form. Your breath is more shallow. So breathe wide, take up that space, really spread those wings. The other thing is, be with your breath consistently to be present. When you're present, you're much more capable of feeling your value, feeling more worthy in the world, than if you're thinking in the past or worried about the future. Presence, presence, presence. The other piece is that when you're present with yourself, you value yourself. When you're present with yourself, other people feel you more. And so they'll value you more as well. So this idea of like mind work, then spirit work is really breath work, just being with your breath. If you're not with your breath, don't expect yourself to have the highest self-worth. Don't expect yourself to be able to attract the kinds of opportunities you want. We all know when you like meet somebody, or you're like, at an event, you're talking to somebody and they're real heady. Yep. And they're just like, la, 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 la. Actually, at the event you and I were at, I met this guy. Interesting man, what he was talking about. It was over my head a little bit, so I had to really focus, and I was like, I know I can learn anything. So I'm like, I don't know what exactly he's talking about, but I'm gonna focus. I'm gonna really focus on what he's saying to listen and try to see if I can learn something here, because I don't understand what he's saying. And it was real techie. And he sat there and talked to me for 20 minutes. Now, it was in a spot, like on a break thing, where it was okay that he was doing that. It wasn't bothering me. It wasn't diminishing my value, in my own time. But I watched him. Great, brilliant guy, for 20 minutes talk to me. Completely in his head. No clue, one, if I was even listening, right? Two, if I understood, right? Why? He's in his head. If he would have just got in his body and had the conversation with me, it would have been so much better of a connection, right? I might have actually understood what he was talking about a little bit better. I might have been able to even ask some questions and interact, right? And then I would have felt even more attracted to like his opportunity that he was trying to share with me. But I didn't. I was completely kind of like just, I was more engaged by observing him because of the kind of work I do. Right?
Interesting.
Yeah. And so we attract what we are. So if we're breathing, we're really present, we're going to attract people who are more present. More present people are much more enjoyable, number one, but they're also, they can witness you, right? And they can see your value at a higher level too.
So let me ask, I'm loving this. Audience, I know you're going crazy. Put questions in the chat box. I do have the chat box open. What I'm hearing is when I'm trying to sell you, I'm not present because sale is in the future. Like buy my tech program that the guy was telling, not that he was pitching, I don't know. But that's the future. Be present by body, mind, spirit with the person like we are doing today, connecting. Is that what I'm feeling? That's what I'm feeling and hearing.
This is probably my favorite question I've ever been asked. And I have been asked a lot of questions over the years on shows and all sorts of stuff, right? I come from academia, so I spent years being asked questions, right? So, here's the game. This is fun. You can tell I love this. This is very fun for me right now. On sales calls, on sales conversations, you want to sell the future, but you want to do it in a way where you're helping people right now feel the feelings of the future.
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that body piece here. That's the third piece. So there's the mindset piece, the spirit breathing piece, and then this body piece. And I love what you just said, because you're like, well, how can we sell the future thing and be in the present moment, basically, right? Well, we do it through asking them questions about the future, asking future casting questions. Future casting questions. So that they get into the feeling state now. Yeah. Powerful. It's the magic of sales.
$1 chip right there. That's and it's not hard. Not hard.
It's not hard, but it's the place that most people in sales stop before they get to. They get to the future from a head space, but they don't get to the future from the feeling state. They stop before. Like if you're going to sell something, and so you're going to sell something that's going to help people make money. Okay. You want to find out, what do they want to spend their money on? Okay. Then you want to, okay, so that's the head piece, really. It's like the thing, okay, check, right? It's logical, right? Then you want to go further. You're like, well, so we want to ask feeling state questions without sounding like a therapist. Right? So we don't want to be weird, but we want to ask them things about it. Like, well, what's it going to be like when you buy your boat? Like, what kind of boat do you want to buy? A lot of people say they want to invest it back in the business. So you might want to ask, like, well, what kind of investment do you want to make in your business? When do you want to do that by? When you do that, how's that going to change your business? So unless we get to the detail state, unless we can feel it, when somebody's telling a story and you're there, you're in it, you can feel it. That's the game. That's what we want to get to in business. It's my favorite part of sales. The sales process is getting people to feel the feelings of the future vision, because that's how they feel your value.
Yeah. And Lila, I paid $18,000 for that 4 minutes like that for a year. I'm not ashamed. It was worthwhile most of the time. But audience, reason I say that, audience, is that's what I paid for, exactly what she said. I keep saying it's as simple as that, because I get it and you get it. But it's also something you have to practice as well, right?
Yeah. Well, the thing is that sometimes we can hear something, but application of it is a little bit more challenging. So I can talk a little bit, next about the body piece.
Let's do that. Let's take a break. This is a perfect time to take a break, because I want to get into how to embody your worth and easily attract opportunities. Powerful title for a show. It's one of my best. I want to get into the body, and then I want to talk about in the second segment, embody your worth and easily. I want to separate those two and have us give us great advice and tips on that. Audience, bring your pen and paper back. We'll be back in 3 to 5 minutes. Take a little break. We'll be back with the incredible Lila Veronica. Back to segment 2 of Together We Serve. Thank you for watching or listening to this recording. I told you at the beginning you need a pad and paper. She is giving, some of those tips are $1 million tips, especially with sales. A lot of us out there are scared of sales. Don't be scared of sales, because you're bringing value, big value. And that's what Lila's telling us. Now she's going to talk about the body, your worth, and opportunities. Layla, welcome back to the show. Let me turn off our music and our little jazz composition. Let's jump in. The link that I'm going to put that link back up again. We're going to do some these three things you've been talking about. We can find at bodywithlayla.com, correct?
The bodywithlayla.com is a 10-minute practice. So it's actually applying it, the body piece. So with the mindset piece, the breathing piece, all of that you'll get, if you bigger, picture working with me. But I want to give you, a huge value piece, which is the body practice. It's probably, besides the breathing that I teach, it's probably the number one tool that I would recommend for anybody. It will keep your body feeling light, feeling open. You'll have more energy. I never say that I'm like a weight loss coach or a fitness coach. All that stuff can happen when you're more in your body. But my intention is for you just to feel good, whatever shape or I would say whatever size you are. The shape does matter. So let's get into this embodiment piece. So I grew up as an intellectual child. I was a high achiever, A student mostly. Went to college, undergrad, master's, doctoral work. So I have about 12 years of higher ed, taught at university, at the Ohio State University. I always grew up thinking, if I get smarter, I'll be more lovable on some level. Now, it may not have been conscious, but that was really what was going on. If I get smarter, I'll be better. I'll be liked more, loved more, better, bigger opportunities, all that stuff. So I just was on a mission to learn and learn and learn. And I still am a massive learner, but it's not what drives me now. And what I recognized was I got to a point when I was about 34 years old, and I thought, I'm smart enough, I work hard enough, like, why can't I figure life out? I wasn't happy. And so I realized like something's got to change. And so I got into this yoga, personal development, mindset, spirituality, all this world of growth, knowing thyself so that you could show up in the world as a better version of yourself. And what I recognized was that the body piece was what I was missing. I was always pretty active. I did a lot of dancing and a lot of athletics, but I was always doing it from my head. And I didn't actually know what my body felt like. So I went on a journey of learning how to feel my body. And I had this moment in New York in 2014 where I physically felt love for myself for the first time. And I chased it. And I moved across country. I left my career. I started studying it, started a business shortly thereafter. And then I've been doing this kind of work ever since. And so what I want to say is, from an embodiment standpoint, embody your worth. Number one, learn how to get your mind into your body. Now, I have a system that I've created for this. That's what Body with Lila is part of. I have a system that makes it easy to access. It's 7 parts of your body. But whatever system you do, whether it be mine or something else, learn how to bring your mind into the body. The toes, the pinky toe, the big toe, all the toes, the fingers, the arms, the legs, the belly, the back, the butt, all the parts and pieces, and the neck and the head, the ears. So you want to learn how to feel yourself more. That's the first step. The second step is then you start to link different feeling states to thoughts. What you start to do is you realize, if you don't feel well, not like being sick, but if you're just like not feeling great, like low energy, all this stuff, not motivated, right? Not confident, not worthy. it's probably showing up somewhere in your body. Typically, like you might get belly aches often, or you might get a headache, or you might get tension in your jaw. Everybody's different. But once you learn how the thoughts are directly related to something going on in your body, then you have more choice. So you can then start to shift your thinking into thoughts that make you feel better. So thoughts that might make you feel more worthy. Thoughts that might make you feel like you have more time in your day, right? Thoughts that make you feel like you're a boss, whatever it is that you need. And everybody's different in terms of what kind of words work for you. And we could have a conversation later about what words would work for you. It depends on where you are and where you want to go. I have some words that I say to myself, for example, when I'm not feeling real, like say that I get hard on myself, because that'll be a tendency in my life. I've been hard on myself, like you should do better, kind of thing. Or you could, just some sort of like, coach thing that I'm coaching myself a little too hard.
Yep.
And I'll say to myself, you got this, girl. Right? You got this, girl. Like it's my internal affirmation that I'm an infinite creator of whatever I want. And so what we have to do though is bring that thinking into the body. What does it feel like when I really got this? Right? What does it feel like when I'm open to receive? Right? You just mentioned an $18,000 program. What does it feel like to invest in myself at that level? Right? What does it feel like to receive at a higher level, right? So what we got to do is we get into the feeling state. And this is the stuff that most intellectuals don't want to do because it takes a little bit of time. But I promise you it'll save time over time. Because like I said, we attract what we are, not what we think, not what we want. All that. So if you can change your energy, if you can change your body, the feeling state, and then if you can help other people do the same, like we just mentioned in sales, you're a rock star. Most people will ask you things about the present and the past. How are you? How have you been? Very few people will ask you about the future. What are you planning next year? What do you want to do with your retirement? Right? What are your big dreams for the next couple years with your business? You won't hear very many people say that. But if you're the person who says it, you stand out.
That's powerful. Those are great. Questions are great in the present. In the past are okay, but you just rock my world, because I do it, but I don't do it enough. So that's why I host these shows. Yeah, because I'm gonna do it every day, every meeting I have.
You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. Like you'll have so much fun with it because it's so fun. Hearing people's dreams is like a blast. And then if you can get them to feel their dreams, like I always talk about the boat idea. If you want to buy a boat, and some people want to buy a boat, right? I actually, this is funny. I've wanted to have a boat. My sweetheart, just today we had brunch and he says, I have a surprise for you. I'm buying us a sailboat.
Oh, congratulations. See,
right?
You didn't manifest that, and that's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome.
Right? I didn't have to say to him, hey, babe, I want a boat. Can you give me a boat? Can we get a boat? Let's buy a boat. Let's go get a boat. Never said I didn't, right? I'm not at all. I have put a boat on my vision board. And I've imagined the water on my face. So if you're talking to somebody who wants a boat, you're like, well, what kind of boat? What are you going to do on the boat, right? For me, I'll bring the food. I got the snacks. I love eating snacks on the boat, right? I'm going to feel the water on my face a little bit as the breeze comes sometimes, right? We're going to go fishing. Now, I could spend the next 5 minutes talking about the boat, but I won't. But I know if you're listening, you might have been on a boat.
Yeah. Well, and the
That's
other
that's the work.
is,
That's the work of sales.
and those are all
Yeah.
future questions. You start with, so you're thinking
Yeah.
about buying a boat next year. What does the boat look like? Is it going to be a speed? You're staying in the future with those questions, right? Am I hearing this?
Yeah.
Secret
Yeah.
sauce.
But you're feeling it now. But because they're feeling state, they're like uh, sensory statements, questions. I talked about food, water on my face, fishing. These are very tactile, like things, right? Maybe the smell of um, um, like a Corona or something, or like
Yeah.
a bag of chips, or some apples or oranges on the boat. You can smell the oranges of the citrus. Like
Yeah.
that's how we one manifest, right? We embody our worth. If I feel the feelings of being worthy, if I feel the feelings of showing up today powerfully and worthy of having this conversation with you, it'll go wonderfully. If I worry about, am I going to say the right thing? Will people like me? All the things, worry. Some, it will go, it won't be, I'm sure you've interviewed people where you were like, they're a little in their head.
Yep.
Right? On occasion, you might get somebody here and there like that.
Yep.
I've interviewed people before, and you have that every once in a while. And so it's my job to feel good, so that I attract things that feel good, and everything works out. And this might sound like I've had people say before, like, "Oh yeah, Lila, you just like say it so easy, just like feel good, and everything works out." I'm like, well, I know that things are challenging at times. It's like I have challenges in life for sure.
Oh yeah.
But I have a choice almost every minute of my life. No, there are times they're challenging. I lost a puppy, my 16-year-old dog, not a puppy. I lost a dog recently. I was sad for a few days. Very, very sad. And then sadness has risen on occasion here and there. So I don't mean you have to like fake it. But if you want to attract good things, bigger things, better things that are higher level of worth to you, you got to be in the feeling state of it.
Well, and I love what you're saying, because I
Steer.
taught, people tell you all the time, like, tell me you're always happy, you're always, oh, I'm not, because there's things happening, but I don't bring them to the call. I don't bring them to the show. And I call them my private life. Maybe you'll know because we're close. I might tell you, but everybody else, it's like rock and roll. Let's have some fun. Let's have a fantastic show. Let's go crazy. But, and I'll be flat out transparent. A guy at Network died on his couch last week, 40 years old. A tragic event. Hit me hard. But I'm not letting it affect my ability of manifesting beautiful things, generosity. I could still be generous and grieve this poor man's life and all that. I love that, because I think people spill their personal life into business, and it just wrecks everything.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I have a personality brand. So I share what I call lifestyle posts online. I share personal things. Like, people know that I've moved a lot. So they follow me where I've moved to, and and different, when I have a car or my animals. But I don't really share my challenges in the moment. I might share later as a hero's journey story to teach a lesson, right? As a teacher, I might share later.
Amen.
But you're not going to know that I'm struggling. Oh yeah, you won't know that I'm struggling. Same thing, unless like you're really close to me. There's no need. I don't think feeding struggles is a good idea. It's not good for manifestation. I'll tell you. I think this is cool. I just heard this, Steve. I think you'll like this. I just heard someone share a story about. So I don't know how true this is. It's not my experience. It's a story I heard, but I heard about a Native American tribe that has a tradition where you can only share your problems 3 times to the community, and then they will turn their back on you the 4th time. Because they don't think that there's there's no value in talking about your problems more than 3 times. I loved it. I thought to myself, because, we have little things that we might bring up, kind of things we're working out in our head over time. I thought, I'm going to pay attention to how many times I talk about anything over the years that's a challenge or problem kind of thing. If I say it more than 3 times, I need to catch it and stop it. There's no need.
Get rid of it.
Yeah, it brings down that vibration, or it brings down our energy, or whatever you want to call it. But it's the thing that can get in the way of attracting those opportunities and embodying our worth. We deserve to feel good. And if you want to feel good, you can't talk about your problems all the time.
Yeah.
And the truth is you're gonna one, not be able to build your business as much. Or here's the other thing I see: you attract people with problems.
Like a magnet.
People who talk. Yeah, you know what, you've seen it, right? People talk about problems all the time. They got people that got problems. People too.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm not talking about problems because I don't want people with problems. I am not. I always tell people, I'm like, I am not a therapist. I am not. That is not my genius zone. I love therapists. Good for them. But I am not that. So you come to me with all your problems, I'm going to tell you a solution. And you still talk about your problems, I'm going to have to send you to therapy. Like.
Well, and that's such a good point, because I think people from a service mentality that they have to do everything. And it's like, you have to say no as a servant's heart, as doing service at times. And I love that you said that, because you're not a therapist.
It's a good one. Yeah. I do meet people sometimes that are really struggling emotionally, and I honor that where they are in their journey, So I have colleagues of mine that I luckily, I know their work. I trust them. Some of them I've even experienced their work directly. I've got a woman, for example, I refer a lot of people to. She helps people get out of stress hormones. So like, if I'm trying to teach somebody something and they're way too stressed, they can't even absorb it, they need her. Like, they don't need me. They need to get out of stress. Now, I've gone through her certification program to learn how to get people out of stress, because I had so many people that I needed to send to her. But I still send people to her because it's her expertise. It's her genius zone. So speaking of generosity, right? So I guess I'll just kind of do a quick review of the 3 pieces, if that's okay.
Yeah, please do. We got a few minutes left. Absolutely, you got time.
Yeah, okay. So number 1 activity is you want to get your mind understanding how worthy you really are by making a list of all the things you've invested in for yourself over the years, whether it be from kindergarten forward, your time, your energy, your money, everything. And then ask people around you, what are your greatest assets and qualities? So please do this exercise. If you only do 1 today, call 4 people that know you and ask them this. It feels good. So you'll be embodying your worth more by feeling good. So do that exercise. Absolutely. Next, learn how to breathe wide. Practice breathing wide, taking up more space like a bird fluffing its wings up. Be with your breath more often. Practice breathing and see what it's like connecting with somebody, if you're able to connect in a better way. And the neat thing is when you're breathing and you're present, you don't seem nervous or heady. You can attract higher level opportunities. Higher level opportunities don't want people who look like nervous and heady, and they want people who are really more grounded. And so the breath will help you with that. And then the 3rd piece is, learning how to be in your body. I have a system that teaches you how to walk, sit, stand, move through space But what I would say is, and you can go to bodywithlila, like we talked about, .com, bodywithlila.com. But whatever you do is learn how to get more into your body, your feelings, your fingers, your toes, your arms, your butt, your hands, all the pieces and parts. And then when you start to feel them, then you can start to feel them feeling good or not feeling good. So you associate mind, thoughts with, does that feel good or not feel good? If it doesn't feel good, there's something to do there. You need to either reprogram that thought or get rid of that thought or just recognize it. Like I remember my first conscious thought, and my mind kind of went from off and on. I was smart, but not conscious. It turned on, I remember, and it's been on ever since. I hear every single thought that I have. Very consciously, I feel every single thought that I have. And if you're not at that place yet, that's the place to move toward. And that's why I've created the Riverstone movement, the system I've created, to make it accessible and easy, and especially for intellectual kind of heady types like moi and most of my community. So those are the pieces
of They're going crazy. The crowd. That was a great recap. And we're getting close to time. Below is your calendar, right? People can access you. Is there any other way they can access you?
Yeah, speakwithlila.com. If you know you want to work with me, you want to get you. I offer a complimentary posture assessment. So come on, I'll look at your body. I'll see what's going on. I'll give you exactly, here's what's happening. Here's what to do to fix it. I'll give you exactly what you need to do. Then if you want to continue working with me, I have a group membership. I have private, body coaching. It really depends on what you want. But if you want that free posture assessment, if you want somebody to look at your body and tell you what's going on, I can do it. Because it's not just about how you feel, like fitness body wise and all that. It's actually, how are you showing up in the world? Like if you're on camera, for example, or you're on stage, you need to know what's going on with your body. If you don't, start taking video of yourself and looking, or go to speakwithlila.com and I'll show you.
We got 1 minute left, or 1.5 minutes. Quick, fun question. Okay, you're on a boat. Well, let's use a boat. I usually use a plane. Let's use a boat. So you're on a boat. You get to choose one person to partner up, and not another, but somebody dead or alive, who would be on the boat next to you on the trip, and why?
I would choose Papa Joe, my best friend's dad, because he knows boating and he knows the water and he knows how to have fun. He knows everything. He's wise, but he's fun. He's loving. I would say Papa Joe's probably the perfect person to take out on the boat. And he'll forever go down in my heart as the boating guy.
Shout out to Papa Joe. You're the man. Giving you a thumbs up. Thank you, Lila, so much. You were such a fantastic guest. Everybody, next week, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, Together We Serve. Reach out to Lila. Get connected with her. And reach out to me if you can't connect, and I'll get you connected, because we are well connected for sure. And we'll see you all in the next episode. Have a great day, everybody.